This time round, we're going to talk about something that is um, very current. Um, it's something that we have both become aware of only relatively recently, and has been building and underway for all of 2024. And that's the activation of the Emerald Heart, both within ourselves and within in the land, and the consequences for that. And when you really begin to understand what the Emerald Heart Network is, this network of Emerald Hearts within the land that's been activated, the Emerald Heart within ourselves, and where that leads us, it absolutely is spectacular and miraculous, isn't it,
Oh
Felix?
yeah.
I can't tell you, I was on such a high when all this information came through and I managed to put it together. It
hmm
was like, oh my God, finally we can go home. And by home, I mean really back into the God worlds. The
hmm
way has opened up. So let's start at the beginning. There
Okay.
is a dormant emerald heart within all of us, or there has been a dormant emerald heart within all of us
Mhm.
that has been activating. Over to you.
Yeah. So it was really interesting because through, I think it was Lionsgate period, there was such strong activation in the God worlds and connection to the God worlds, to the field of one, to the omni-love currents. Um, and through that process, after the Lionsgate period, we went into a really, really deep reconstruction of the ending of many, many cycles, which then went
Mm,
through a deep period of integration.
yeah.
So as we went through that completion phase, it was like this, and that was running in tandem with the dismantle, the dissolution of the chakra membrane, which I
Mm,
think we've talked about in a previous video.
yeah.
So when that happened and we went through that process, this kind of shot us up into the God world locations to start to anchor the
Mm,
information, the codes, the consciousness of the God worlds down onto our Earth body, but also into our own fields. And this then gained the realignment of the double diamond sun template, which is the 24 strand DNA template comprised of the 13, well, 16 to 24 are comprised of sound tones, and also the 13 to 15 also has that as well, but that's a light, primal light.
sound and light. Yeah.
Yeah, so sound and light. And through this process, it basically gave us the access into the higher heavens, into the God worlds, which then gave us, or I was shown like the kind of coordinates on the grids as to where these emerald heart fragments sat. Now, the interesting thing was 2 years ago when I was in Ireland, I came across the first emerald heart. And this was held in Clonmacnoise and also in Tara. And it was on this trip in Ireland where the solar dragons, where I first met the solar dragons, when I was on Tara, Newgrange, in Galway, and then in Dublin
Mm,
as well. There were varying different points where these solar dragons were kind of coming to me, and they were going through a process of healing, coming through a process of kind of communication. And I didn't understand it at the time at all. So I was like, oh, this is cool. There's some dragons here. And this Emerald Heart network, which as I kind of picked it apart, it was connected to a like a web or fundamentally a
mm,
network that connected into different heart fractals or heart fragments. Now, again, back then I had no idea what was going on
yeah.
until this year, where everything started to kind of make sense as to what this heart network was. So through the past 2 months, I've done numerous grid work sessions with my clients, with Saira, with friends and whatnot, where um, one of them we were taken to an Emerald Crystal City, which had um, information held within the emerald fragments, the heart fragments as well. And this started to kind of amplify the frequency of this emerald heart. Now, as we go through that process, your emerald heart connects with your fourth heart and then your eighth heart, kind of synchronize up with one another. And then there's varying different heart structures that sit within the heart field. And these start to um, synchronize with one another. And through that process, you've got the highest architecture connecting to the lowest architecture. And this works to restructure all of the fields. Now, as this happens, the network of the Emerald Hearts, the last one that I saw was in Tenerife, in Mount Teide or Tierda, or however you say it, um, which is actually very close to the 13th Roche pillar. So the 13th Roche pillar holds the Amorea wave. Now, I feel like that was the kind of final thing that needed to kind of come together in order for the network to kind of start to activate, which then took us to Kauai. Now, as I was kind of watching that, these emerald webs or grids began to grow over the islands. And then eventually the projection of that would be over the world. So it becomes a grid around the world in and of itself.
Yeah, I mean, my understanding is the original seeding of humanity was as 12 different tribes, and each tribe was basically tasked with the protection and the maintenance and the well-being of the Stargate and the land, one of the 12 Stargates, the universal Stargates, and the land around it. And as part of that, they would do something called running the rounds, which is bringing high frequency, the 12 dimensional energy into the grids. And the Emerald Heart Network is part of that. It's linked into the Mardi Gras lines, who are the lines who would have protection of the lands. Now, that's a long, long time ago, and everything went into abeyance because of what's been done to the grids, what's been done to the people. But it's all coming back now. It's coming back online with
Yeah.
the influx of higher energies into the planet, into the grid, into ourselves. So,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
it's a returning back to wholeness. It's opening up this connection back that we always had and that we lost as frequencies on the planet fell, we lost. So that connection back into the land, that connection back into oneness and wholeness, with the land and with ourselves, and then with the higher God worlds, is open. I mean, it's not, suddenly you wake up one morning and ping. You obviously have to do your work to get there, but the potential for that is now there. The potential for us to go home, to really go home, it is there in a way it hasn't been for eons.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So,
that is magnificent.
oh yeah, it's wonderful, absolutely
Mm,
wonderful. Yeah. So the awakening of these different heart nodes and grids has basically given us the stair step process to getting back to the higher worlds. We
mm,
jump up and down to gather the information and the intel within the Amorea shield, which then allows the rebuilding of the Emerald Sun DNA template. Now, this is interesting because this is a 48 strand template.
mm,
And what
mm,
also comes with that is there is a divine counterpart, a masculine 48 strand template, and that is the source point of the Ruby Sun,
mm.
which is what
Yeah.
we previously spoke about.
In fact, it's the source point. The 48th dimension is the source point of the Emerald Order, and the Emerald Order are one of the primary founder
Mm-hmm.
impulses, consciousnesses, shall we say,
Mm-hmm.
for this whole time matrix, whole universe.
Yeah.
So they are our fathers, they are our forebears, our founders, our
Mm-hmm.
it is going home in the truest sense of the word. Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah.
So what you can kind of expect as you're kind of connecting up and down into this is very, very high surges of light. And the way you interpret information within the God worlds um, allows you to embody, I don't even know how to kind of put this. The bliss levels that sit within up there create such a strong charge within your own energy fields that your whole surroundings become very holographic. And it's almost as if you're kind of jumping between worlds and
Mm,
dimensions,
mm,
but with your physical form.
mm,
Even if it's just for a second, it's still something because this is what we're learning to do to change our format and be able to take that through into a different dimensional resonance anyway.
mm.
So yeah, that's it
Yeah,
really.
it's
What I can
great
give you
stuff,
on
isn't
that.
it?
Yeah, lovely. So
Yeah,
yeah, if you did like that, give us a like and a subscribe, and I'll leave Sarah's information down below. Thanks so much for watching.
you.
Cheers.